Carlos Hathcock, the white feather sniper. In the sweltering jungles of Vietnam, a single glint of sunlight could mean life or death. One man, with nothing more than a rifle, patience, and nerves of steel, became so feared that the enemy placed a $30,000 bounty on his head. This is the story of Gunnery Sergeant Carlos Hathcock, the white feather, the legendary Marine sniper whose skill changed the battlefield forever. Early life Carlos Norman Hathcock II was born on May 20, 1942 in Little Rock, Arkansas. From a young age, he dreamed of two things: living on a farm and becoming a rodeo cowboy. Both came true, but fate had a far more dangerous path in store. He learned to shoot as a boy using his father's old Mauser rifle to hunt in the woods. This wasn't just sport. It put food on the table during hard times. Hathcock's natural talent for marksmanship grew alongside his determination to serve in the U.S. Marine Corps. But when he first tried to enlist, he was turned away due to age and medical concerns. Years later, the Marines called him back, and in 1959, he finally began his journey in the Corps. Vietnam and the white feather. When the Vietnam War escalated, Hathcock volunteered for deployment. He soon gained a reputation for deadly accuracy and uncanny stealth. Marines began calling him the white feather because he often wore one in his boonie hat, a bold move since it made him easier to identify. But to Hathcock, it was a challenge to the enemy. "Here I am, try and find me." The North Vietnamese took that challenge seriously, offering $30,000 to anyone who could kill him, far more than the usual $8,000 for a Marine sniper. Legendary missions. The enemy sniper duel. Through the scope. One of his most famous encounters came when intelligence reported an enemy sniper, nicknamed the Cobra, was specifically hunting Hathcock. The Vietnamese sniper was skilled, disciplined, and rumored to have already killed several Marines. Hathcock and his spotter set up, knowing they were being hunted in return. After hours of tense scanning through his unertl scope, Hathcock saw a brief glint, sunlight reflecting off glass. In that instant, he fired. The bullet passed cleanly through the enemy sniper's scope and into his eye. That impossible shot wasn't T-luck. It was a combination of Hathcock's skill in judging distance, wind, and bullet drop, and his ability to recognize the smallest sign of danger. Even today, that scope shot remains one of the most iconic feats in sniping history. The 3-day crawl, assassinating the general. Perhaps his most grueling mission came when he was tasked with eliminating a high-ranking North Vietnamese Army general. Hathcock crawled over 2,500 yards, more than 3/4 of a mile, through open terrain. He moved inches at a time, pushing his rifle ahead of him and using his elbows and toes to inch forward. For 3 days and nights he endured ant bites, heat, and exhaustion, never standing, never revealing his position. Finally, from just 700 yards away, he lined up his shot and fired, killing the general instantly. Without hesitation, he began the slow crawl back, avoiding patrols sweeping the area. It was a masterclass in patience, stealth, and mental toughness. The longest kill, M2 Browning at 2,460 yards, using a modified M2, 50 caliber Browning machine gun with a telescopic sight, Hathcock spotted enemy movement far beyond normal sniper range. He calculated the distance, squeezed the trigger, and scored a confirmed kill at 2,460 yards, about 1.4 miles. It was the longest confirmed sniper kill in history at the time, a record unbroken for 35 years. Valor, injury, and later career. By 1969, Hathcock had survived countless missions and the constant threat of assassination. But fate caught up with him in a different way. The landmine incident. While riding in an amphibious vehicle in Quang Tri Province, the vehicle struck an anti-tank mine. The blast engulfed it in flames. Hathcock, his own body already burning, ignored the pain and began pulling fellow Marines from the wreckage. He saved at least 7 men that day before collapsing. He suffered third-degree burns over much of his body and face, spending months in recovery. For his actions, he received the Purple Heart, and decades later, the Silver Star. From battlefield to classroom, while riding in an amphibious vehicle in Quang Tri Province, the vehicle struck an anti-tank mine. The blast engulfed it in flames. Hathcock, his own body already burning, ignored the pain and began pulling fellow Marines from the wreckage. He saved at least 7 men that day before collapsing. He suffered third-degree burns over much of his body and face, spending months in recovery. For his actions, he received the Purple Heart, and decades later, the Silver Star. Final years and legacy. In the late 1970s, Hathcock was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which forced him into early retirement. Yet even as his health declined, his legend grew. Books like Marine Sniper, 93. Confirmed kills immortalized his missions, while military snipers around the world studied his techniques. Today, the Gunnery Sergeant Carlos Hathcock Award honors exceptional Marine snipers, and his story remains required reading in sniper schools. Carlos Hathcock wasn't just a sniper. He was a protector, a teacher, and a Marine whose actions saved lives both on and off the battlefield. From the white feather in his hat to the impossible shots that still inspire awe, his story reminds us that true legends aren't made by numbers, but by courage, discipline, and sacrifice. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more remarkable tales of history's most extraordinary figures.